Hey guys, so I figured, for fun, just to reminisce on the past year, we'd look over pretty much every custom plush I've had of the four main OCs in my series this year, which is about three different versions. So let's start with version one, with one I don't know how I was ever proud of. One of the very first technically plushes of Z. Now, obviously, this guy is, ooh, yikes. Yeah, I'm not. I'll try and untangle him while I talk. So, obviously, the main problem is that I did pipe cleaner limbs instead of doing something like what I'll do. The further we get into this video, which you'll see all the different attempts I've made at doing the limbs and stuff. But yeah, the main flaws with this guy is that one, pipe cleaner limbs. Two, there's no stuffing in any of the limbs, so they're all flat. Three, the head is a foam ball. It is not stuffed, and it does not even resemble a human head. And also, this was way, way before I learned that to make them look decent, you actually have to flip this inside out, which you will see with the very last set, because those guys are really the only ones I've actually done that on. But yeah, so yeah, that's the very, very first version of Z. So with that being said, I think we should move on to the next character, A. A very, very different from that guy. And that's because the rest of these guys kind of got, and I ended up making later, and decided instead of doing that again, I should try making some kind of attempt at a plush body. Again, I still was very far away from learning how to do the flipping technique to make him look better. But yeah, other than that, he's not the worst. These guys are really flat, and the heads are still very not good. They are also very lacking in a lot of details. I do want to mention that I'm not going to be judging these based off of the evolution of the character design, because that's not what this is about. This is about the evolution of my skills in making the plush, which includes things like missing details, because A did have some details on the stomach there on this older version of the design that I didn't have. Also, he that is not felt. That is foam. So yeah. Oh, and also you could kind of see the head through the hair, which is not very good. Then we have Mooney. Again, a very flat character. This one kind of is like puffed out here, so his head leans back. He's very small for some reason. I don't know why I made him this small. And then his scarf is very, very bad. It's pretty much only done at the front angle, because for a lot of these, I really only focused on making the front, kind of like how I used to make the foam characters very, very long ago. At least feels like it. But hey, back on track. Yeah, again, not very good. Again, still didn't learn the technique. And again, looks very, very flat. This one would usually be in better condition, but he is one of the ones that I ended up taking stuffing out of to try and save on stuffing. I didn't do it with most of these guys, and I really don't know why I haven't done it with the rest of these guys. But yeah. This one weirdly has shoulder pads, which I don't know why he does, because the only character who has ever had shoulder pads was, uh, Gabe, and I don't think I had even, like, designed Gabe yet. Or, well, no, I did. He's right over here. But But yeah, this guy is... It doesn't really make sense why he has the shoulder pads. And then this one actually probably has the most, like, probably the second most details out of all these guys. He's fairly accurate to the character design that I turned into the plush at the time. But obviously, again, has all the main problems that all these guys had, which was that didn't do the flipping technique. I did a very poor job, and they all looked very flat. So yeah, that is the first ever versions, like proper plush versions of these characters. So I'm gonna move them off to the side so I can move on to the next set, which weirdly is lacking in in Mooney. So we'll start off with Z. This one, I believe, was used all the way from season 5 of the original to, I believe, somewhere mid season 1 of Reboot. This guy is decent. He pretty accurately follows the design for Z at the time. The plush body is a little bit better on these guys, but again, they are still flat. And, I messed up on this guy. So, there's actually, like, I think paper, like, crunched up paper in the bottom of this guy, because I made the claw so big and heavy that even with all that stuff in there, he still leans off to the side. Which is why the claw got slightly worse with the final version, was so that it didn't do that again. It still looks pretty good and actually works a little bit better than that one. But yeah, this guy also has very, very not hidden magnets, which is because they are cheap magnets, and I could not find, for the life of me, a somewhat decent magnet anywhere. It just wasn't happening, so I had to compromise with this thing. But yeah, other than that, he's not too bad. I feel like these ones are a tiny bit overstuffed, but I don't know, maybe that's just because of... Maybe it's just, like, the appearance of them because I didn't learn the flipping technique again. And then we have A, who, again, follows the design that I had at the time pretty closely. Is definitely way more detailed than that thing. But, again, is still flat. This one looks like it has a triple chin. And, oh, I completely forgot to mention, none of these guys have noses. For some reason, I never made noses until the final versions. I don't know. I guess I just had a thing against doing noses, but yeah. This guy actually does not have a removable bow tie, which I'm glad for, because it actually makes him just a little bit better than that guy. But I forgot to mention it back there, but looking back, I made their limbs way too long. They're obviously all the way out here, but they should be like somewhere about there if I was trying to reach a more Funko accurate size, which is probably why these things look so big. And the final ones are obviously very big compared to Funko, but they're proportionate and big. Not these where they're disproportionate and big, where the arms stick out like crazy. And they're also really, really big for no reason. And then finally, we have C, with the first ever design of the thing that later became his robe. It's got the white hair magnet, a different type of magnet for the hat, because I believe, again, these two ended up getting made after this guy. Again, all the same complaints here, except one more, where for some reason the details that I had on this guy were not on this guy. Don't know why. Don't know if I changed it at the time or something. Pretty sure I didn't. But if I did, then I should have probably had something else that I should have put on here instead of just leaving it blank, because, like, the cape thing doesn't even cover it up. Like, it barely even reaches down, like, not even, like, halfway down the shirt. So, yeah. And then I'm actually gonna organize this a little bit, because these guys are all over the place. I'll be right back. And I'm back. So, I got these guys decently lined up. Can't really do much, especially with the originals, because most of them are... Now, moving on to the final versions, starting off, obviously, we have Z, who still very much has flaws, like his head is only attached to his body by a pipe cleaner, which I did fix when I finally made the other ones, but I didn't do on this one. Also, I made him way too big, even compared to the other ones, which I actually slightly sized down. You'll see them in a second. And I kind of did this with his legs. I mean, his arms are floppy too, but that's not as bad, because that's kind of what I wanted, was so that they could at least have some mobility. But yeah. And then also the obvious fact of I did not think through making his entire suit out of this one version of dark green, instead of just waiting to get some lime, like at least lime green, so that I could do that instead of this. Oh yeah, also, obviously I updated the eyes a little bit, just to fit with how I draw them now. Um, his head is a little bit different from the other ones. I don't remember if I used a slightly smaller piece of felt for the back of the head on this one, but even if I did, I should have made it smaller, because it is not very noticeable, even though it is on the older, or the newer ones. His hair, their hair is also, very bad. And that's because when I designed this, I was still on the thing of the hair just, like, being fake and not looking even slightly realistic. And then I changed that later. So, yeah. And they do have their purple hat, but it's attached by a magnet, which I didn't properly glue on, so that I didn't have to deal with it always being there. So the hat is actually, I think, stored away in, like, a bin of props or something somewhere. And then, like I mentioned earlier, I had to slightly compromise with the claw by making it like these flat pieces with no stuffing in them. And even though the pipe cleaners didn't really work for the rest of this stuff, it actually works surprisingly well for the claw, even though it's flat now. But maybe I'll update that if I get the dark gray felt again. Now, next up, we have A, who finally is well, I mean, Z technically also did it, but Z wasn't made to always be like that. This guy, however, is. I finally perfected the sitting. The arms are proportionate. They're not sticking out like that. They're like down to the sides. The legs, they are slightly angled outwards, which I think is perfect. It's amazing. I think it looks perfect. I was very nervous when I did that, because I was like, oh, what if I screwed up? What if they're turned out too far and they look really awkward? But no, it turned out perfect, and I'm so glad. And they don't look like that. So yeah, I'm very happy with the proportions on this. Unlike Z over there, I fixed the neck thing. It's still slightly not sound, so I might have to glue around the edges here. The only thing that I can say, kind of a downside to this, is that I kind of messed up a little bit, so now his head's like slightly downwards. But yeah, the eyes are amazing, face is amazing. The details, even though the newer versions don't have like over exaggerated features like the last ones where they had like all this fancy eccentric stuff. These guys are toned down a little bit for the most part from the originals, because I kind of over exaggerated some, like over made everything kind of overly fancy on the originals. And sure, granted, these guys are in suits, but at least it looks good. They don't look like like they're doing it to be eccentric. They look like they're doing it to be formal. So yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I'm sorry. I'm a little tired. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. But yeah, this guy is almost perfection. Other than that, and yeah. And then next up we have a very unique one out of all these four, even though Z is also pretty unique. This guy's really unique because he is stuck standing. Like, he can't move between sitting and standing. He's not stuck sitting, he is stuck standing. And that's because of this thing. Now, obviously, like I said already, I'm not basing these off of how I designed the OC at the time. I'm basing it off of how accurate is it to how I designed the OC. And this, I would say, is about as accurate as any of these are going to get. It's got all the little eyes on the robe. It's got the little star eyes. The robe is perfect, and if you actually look in there, his legs do go, like, all the way up there. You can, like, even see just, like, the bottom of the pants there. It's perfect. Pure perfection. Again, his head is attached with the thing. I might also have to secure this one, because this one feels, like, really, really loose, but I don't know. Maybe I won't have to. Maybe I'm just, like, worried about a problem that doesn't actually exist. But either way, very good. The only thing that sucks is that when the others are sitting down, he's going to look a little goofy because he's always standing. But sometimes you got to make sacrifices to have cool things like this. I'm glad I sacrificed the ability for him to sit, for him to be able to have this thing. I think this looks amazing, and I think it was totally worth the sacrifice, even though it kind of sucks that I had to do that. So yeah. Also, this guy is not as bad with the head thing. I think his is actually more angled up this time, which actually will probably look better in videos. So yeah, with this guy, I just kind of have to, like, force the head to stay up, otherwise it go like that. And then finally, the first Mooney we have gotten in a while. Mooney. Yeah, the head a little bit big, but that's fine. He's a cartoony little guy, so he can have a big head, and he can still be good. I think, since Mooney hasn't really changed, I guess there's not really, like, much, like, in design updates to talk about, so I'm gonna say it. The hair here is a million times better. That little puff of hair is a million times better than that. Even though over time it has gotten more exaggerated, Mooney has stayed so close to the very first time I drew Mooney that it's pretty, like, there's, I don't know. Like I said, it's a little late, but yeah. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that I can somewhat compare the different times I've drawn Mooney with just Mooney, because they've basically never changed, other than over time I have given him a slight pop of color by giving him these brown shoes instead of black shoes, which I specifically did that because I didn't want anybody to think he was wearing, like, those weird, like, pants with, like shoe things on the ends of them. I don't know, they're weird. This one does actually have the hoodie pocket. I don't have a scarf for him yet. I will get it done, and I promise you, this scarf will be good. We are not gonna have another scarf like like that one over there. No, this one's gonna be good. I just need to get the dark gray felt first. But yeah, I think that turning the smile from, like, a big open wide smile like the rest of these guys to something like this fits the cartoony like, look that he's supposed to have a lot better. So yeah, definitely amazing. Just like all the other ones. He also slightly angles down. I think it's just a problem that happens with the sitting ones. I really don't know. He does not have the, like, half circle hand things at the end, but that's because, again, his design is different from the rest of these very much. So the plush is going to end up looking a little different. Like, the hands aren't going to be like those ones. So, yeah. So there you have it. The Model 24s finally have decent plushes. Don't worry, the 25s will be coming soon. These two over here will be getting updated plushes soon enough. But I have a lot I'm working on, and it is late, so I don't have time to work on them tonight. But trust me, as soon as I possibly can, I will have those guys out. I promise. So yeah, that's it. I got all these different generations here. Sadly, no Mooney for this generation. I really don't know why there isn't. But yeah. Oh, and also, I think I'm 90% sure I've said this before. If I haven't, I really should have a lot sooner. But obviously, Mooney is not my character. He never has been. He probably never will be. He belongs to, I think the channel name is Jammin' in the Pan now. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've been on his channel. It's been like forever since I've talked to him. But, you know, he gave me permission to use Mooney in my series, in my shows, so I use Mooney in my shows. So yeah. So yeah. There it is. Every decent advancement in the quality of these guys. Obviously, I'm not going to dig through and try to find the foam ones because, one, most of those things are piles of tape and foam. Two, there wasn't really a lot of changes in those. And three, because all the remaining, most of them got thrown out, and the ones that do remain are in the bottom of a basket, all tangled up, so there's a likelihood that I wouldn't even be able to find any of these guys, except for, like, maybe Z or something, because a lot of these guys also didn't get foam characters very often. But that's fine, because now he's got these guys, and they will be in videos, and they will last for a lot longer than the foam ones. Also, my last thing, I completely forgot. C has this thing now. It will probably appear with him in whatever episode he appears in first. Which, I'm already brainstorming the idea for that video. It should be out hopefully soon. I really hope you guys enjoy it. In fact, I really hope you guys are enjoying the reboot in general, because I'm having a lot of fun going back and retelling all the original stories of FNAF Plush, but now with the updated storyline that happened, that I came up with around seasons 4 or 5, and the tiny bit of 6 that I did, one episode of 6 that, like, actually no, I think there was like 2 episodes, but either way, yeah. So I hope you guys enjoy the reboot. I'm working very hard on it, and I really hope it's turning out good for those of you who are watching it, because I don't know. So yeah, expect to see these 3 pretty soon, and expect to see the next FNAF Plush reboot episode pretty soon. I'm in the middle of making it. I'm in the middle of working on when these guys are going to appear, which I'm not going to tell you which episode. Could be like the one after this one, or one that's like another season away. it's not going to be one season away. That was just a joke. But I'm not going to tell you when they're actually going to show up. So, yeah. But yeah, trust me. Just know that these 3 are coming back. I promise you, I'm not going to leave them out of the rest of the reboot. And they're not just going to randomly disappear because I decided to update the plushes, but I ended up spending a lot of time working on them and eventually gave up. Trust me, these guys will be sticking around for a very, very, very long time. If there's any of these guys who are going to go at any time, it's probably going to be Z. And even then, this guy will probably stick around in videos for a while, even if I procrastinate on updating him, because I would still hold on to this guy, because even though he wouldn't be good for making videos, it would be very nice to have displayed up there on the shelf with the carver, where he usually is. I still have to work on finding a display for these guys. But yeah, don't worry. Trust me. These guys aren't just going to keep disappearing like they did last time with all these, where they just disappear for months and it would only be Z showing up in the show. And then they just randomly reappear again with no explanation for why they disappeared. There will not be excuses for them disappearing. There won't be them disappearing in general. I have been taking way too long to explain this. So, yeah, I hope this video is decent. I'm just trying to... I know there's been a lot of, like, really random things I've been working on, like the room tour, channel trailer, and such. I'm just trying to come up with content to show you guys while I'm working on making FNAF Plush Season 2. Because, honestly, it's been the most interesting out of any of the seasons I've ever made. Original FNAF Plush and reboot combined. I haven't really had a more interesting season than this one. Well, except for maybe Season 6, but then again, I also ended up having to cancel the original FNAF Plush because I kept changing the story during the production of the original show. But yeah, Season 2 has definitely been very fun for me, and the storytelling in it is very, very interesting, even compared to the stuff that's been in the previous seasons of the reboot. At least in my opinion. I don't know, but yeah. So please watch. I really hope you guys enjoy the next FNAF Plush episode whenever it comes out. I hope you guys are enjoying me doing these other for fun videos, like going through a little bit of my history. And even though I've unlisted most of the my original videos, I think we can still look back and kind of appreciate the evolution, even though a lot of the videos aren't available unless you go to the playlists. And yes, for those of you who are wondering why pretty much all my old content got unlisted, or, well, privated, it's not privated, it's unlisted. I believe they all should still be watchable through the FNAF Plush playlists that I have on my channel. So, if you really want to go back and look through the mess that is the original FNAF Plush, or as I like to call it, FNAF Plush Low Budget, yeah, go sure, whatever, go do that. That's up to you guys. I mean, I personally won't, but, like, I don't even watch the videos I make now. But I've been rambling on for too long. But yeah, just know that if, for whatever reason, you want to go back and watch the original show, it's still there. Just because I'm ashamed of the poor quality of those, and I'd much rather you guys watch what I'm working on now, I'm not going to make it so that you can't. Because if you want to go back and watch the original so that you can watch this one, and watch the evolution between those two, that's amazing. That's actually really nice. So, yeah. Here, I'll give you one final look at all of these guys, so I can at least give you something interesting to look at the end of this video, other than just listening to me ramble for like the past, 4 minutes now. So, yeah. thank you all for watching. I really hope you enjoy everything I've been working on lately. And trust me, FNAF Plush is not going to be the only big thing that I'll be working on this year. There's a lot more coming up. I can't say too much about it because there's not much to say about it. But trust me, when you see it, you will love it. I think this year is a year for improvements on my channel. First it happened with FNAF Plush, maybe it'll happen with others. We'll see as the year goes on. Maybe I'll even start a few new shows. That way I'll have something a little extra to watch than just FNAF Plush. So, thanks for watching. Bye.